So we'll have the demonstration some other day. Today we will see what exactly is this virtual labs in brief. So let me share my screen. Hope the screen is visible, sir. Hope the screen is visible, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so virtual labs, as the name itself suggests, in simple terms, it is computer-based labs, which is an MoE Government of India initiative under National Mission on Education through ICT. So when I say national mission, it is an umbrella mission which takes care of various ICT initiatives such as Swayam Prabha, Virtual Labs, Yantra, FOSSI, and so on. So Virtual Lab is one of the ICT initiatives, which was started long back, that is around in 2008, and it is still an ongoing project. So we can say Virtual Lab is an extended version of NPTEL. Why government might have started the project called Virtual Labs? There are many reasons for that. So some factors being displayed on the screen. The first one is physical distance, to overcome physical distance limit. So we know during the early COVID pandemic time, when students were not allowed to directly go to the actual physical lab, this was one of the best alternative used. Also, maybe due to heavy rains, when students or users are not allowed to go to the physical lab, this serves as one of the best alternative for that. And also, we know to set up individual lab, the cost involved is very huge. So it would be better if the equipments could be shared between the institutions, right? So in order to facilitate all these requirements, and also in order to establish equality among students of different institutions, Government of India started a project called Virtual Labs. So what is the basic idea? It is to provide remote access to n number of users to a physical lab through internet. Okay, so the structure here would be very similar to what we have in a regular curriculum. So we would be having labs in different domains, and each lab we have set of experiments, and here n number of users at the same time can work on individual experiments through internet. Okay. I request other participants to kindly mute your mic. Okay, thank you. Moving to the features of virtual labs. First main thing is virtual lab is anytime, anywhere lab. That is, it is independent of place, space, and period. Starting with period, that is time independency. Unlike physical lab, where we usually have a time restriction between 9 to 5 or so, here, unlike that, user can work on the experiments early in the morning or late at night, whichever time he is convenient with, he can work on these labs. Okay, and the second thing, that is place independency. So similar to time, here as well, user need not come to physical lab itself to work on these labs. No, early in the morning, late at night, whichever time he's convenient with, and at whichever place, at his home, hostel, classroom, wherever he is, he can work on these labs. Third one is space, that is speed independency. We know some completes multiple number of experiments within a given time, whereas some may not even complete a single experiment, right? So speed depends on individuals. So here, since individuals work on different experiments, it is time independent as well. Other features include these virtual labs are free to use. Then what is the requirement? We just need a computing device with an internet connection. And when I say computing device, it could be desktop, laptop, or even using our simple mobile phones, we can use or work on these labs. The next point is it promotes self-learning by providing complete learning management system at a single point. So similar to what we have lab manual or what we ask students to write in their record book for every experiment, here we have similar contents available. So if we take any of the experiment, we would be having here aim of the experiment provided, then objective, apparatus used, theory behind the concept, procedure to conduct the experiment in this virtual labs, then some reference links, set of questions to test one's understanding levels, in some cases video animations. So all these would be available for most of the experiments across this virtual labs platform, and all the contents would be the verified ones. So moving with the types of virtual labs. Based on scalability and closer to reality, virtual labs are classified into three types. First one is simulation based, second one is measurement based, and third one is remote triggered type. In simulation based labs, it is mainly based on mathematical modeling. Second one is measurement based. Here, developer of the lab would have priorly conducted the experiment. The obtained data or output would be stored in the server. So whenever user performs the experiment, he would be getting this stored data. And in third type, that is in remote trigger type, user himself can trigger the actual experiment remotely, see how the experiment works, and then get the real-time data as output. So remote triggered lab experiments would be more closer to reality, but we have very lesser number of experiments available. Whereas simulation-based labs, there are 1,000 plus simulation-based labs or experiments available across the platform. Hope the difference is clear between the three types. Now coming to the difference between physical and virtual labs. Some factors we already discussed, some being listed over here. First one is cost. So since the requirement is just a computing device with the internet connection, the cost involved for virtual labs is almost nil. Availability, as I told earlier, virtual labs are available all the time. Experimentations, since the mode is virtual, there is no boundary limitations as what we have in our physical lab. So it provides wider and safer options to do innovative experimentations. In terms of user experience, virtual labs stands the second best. Here we need to remember one thing. Virtual lab is not just an alternative to physical lab. No, it is a tool to provide experiential learning of the concept. It is a tool to provide experiential learning of the concept. And when I say concept, it could be theoretical concept or it could be a practical ones. Okay. And the usage is not, again, just as an alternative to physical lab or theory courses. No. Here, this could be used by the faculty members for better demonstrations of the concepts in classrooms. It could be used as part of the assignment submission, as we have the option to take snapshot of the simulation window and keep. we can ask students to submit that. So along with the date and time, it will be saved as PDF. Then students can use this as a revision part just before the exam. Conducting the experiments again in physical lab would be a difficult task. So they can come to this virtual labs website and do the perform the experiment over here and get the experience. Also, as a flipped classroom, like students before coming to the lab, faculty members can ask the students to go through the experiment virtually and come to the physical lab, which will help them to conduct the experiments in physical lab much easier, right? So these are few different ways virtual labs could be used. So virtual lab is not dedicated to any one domain. No, in these domains, that are 7 engineering and 2 basic science domains, we have virtual labs available. So currently, we are developing labs in domains other than these as well, such as mathematics-based labs are coming up, management-based labs. Okay, in few other domains as well, the labs are getting developed. And who developed these labs? Is it only NITK Suratkal? No. So we have 11 participating institutes across the country. So 6 old IITs, IIIT Hyderabad, 2 private universities, COE Pune and NITK Suratkal. So NITK is the only one NIT involved in this particular project. So all these institutions are the participating institutes for this virtual labs initiative, and other institutions across the country can be part of the initiative by being nodal centers. So your institute is also one of the nodal center for this virtual labs project under NITK Suratkal. And at NITK Suratkal, transdisciplinary R&D center, that is Center for System Design, takes care of this virtual labs initiative along with other projects. So it is a place where people from different domains come and work on wide variety of projects. It is headed by Professor K.V. Gangadharan, who is professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Lab development is coordinated by Dr. Puthraj Umesh, who is an assistant professor in the Department of Water Resources and Ocean Engineering. So these are the different areas where we work on: UAV-based projects, sound and vibration related projects, then smart metal application-based, product development-based, experiential learning-based. So virtual lab is an example for experiential learning type of project. So virtual labs at NITK Suratkal works with the name SOLVE, that is Student Online Laboratory for Virtual Experimentations. Okay, SOLVE. So there are 380 plus nodal, 390 plus currently. We have 390 plus nodal centers onboarded under virtual labs for virtual labs under NITK Suratkal. So main area of development from the virtual labs team at NITK Suratkal is in mechanical engineering, civil engineering, chemical and electrical engineering, computer science and engineering domains. So whatever activities we do here, maybe in the center or in particular to virtual labs, everything will be updating in our social media handles. So in Facebook, we have 2 official pages, that is Center for System Design at NITK Suratkal and Solve the Virtual Lab at NITK Suratkal. Okay, in Instagram, again, we have 2 IDs, CST_NITK and solve.nitk. So you can note down these, follow these, and keep yourself updated with the activities we do here. So Solve is completely dedicated to the activities on virtual labs, the internship opportunity, career opportunities, everything will be updating over here. CSD is the entire center. Okay, other than these 4, even in YouTube, we have a channel called Center for System Design at NITK Suratkal. You can look into the videos available over there as well. So you can tell all your students as well to look into these different social media handles. So Laghupata is one such short video tutorial series available for all the labs developed by, for most of the labs developed by NITK Suratkal. Okay, it is to guide user with the usage of virtual labs. So you can look into these videos as well. This is again available in YouTube, in our YouTube channel as well, Laghupata. So this was an overview of what exactly is this virtual lab. It is basically a journey from concept to reality. So here we stress on do engineering rather than just read engineering. So this was a brief of what exactly is this virtual labs. We should remember virtual lab is not a software, it is a website, and the link for virtual labs website is vlab.co.in. Okay, so I think currently the website is under maintenance, so we can have demonstrations scheduled for some other day. So today, I'll take you inside one more, the third type of virtual labs. Let's see if that is available. So let me again reshare my screen. Okay, so I have opened a tab in browser. So here in Google, if we just search for RT Labs NITK, RT Labs NITK. So the first link will take us to the third type of virtual labs, that is remote triggered labs. So as I told earlier, only very few remote triggered labs are available. Not all the institutes host RT lab. So virtual labs of NITK Suratkal host 2 RT lab. That is, here you can see a tab called RT lab. So under that we get 2 options, vibration lab and strength of materials lab. So virtual labs of NITK Suratkal host 2 RT lab, that is vibration lab and sound lab. Okay, so if I click on any of them, I have clicked vibration lab. So if I directly click on RT labs, I can get 2 different links. So clicking on one of them, we have experiments available. Okay, currently there are 7 experiments of RT available. So taking one of them, so structure of simulation based virtual labs are also would be very similar to this. So we need to go inside the domain, then to the lab, then to experiment. Okay. So inside the experiment, again, as I told earlier, these would be the contents covered. We would be having complete theory behind the concept available. We have a theory tag. Then we have procedure tag. This is the procedure to conduct experiments in this virtual labs platform. Then we have self-evaluation, that is a set of questions to test one's understanding levels. Okay. Then we have Laghupata link available here as well. So for 2 labs, we have here the link available. Then we have virtual tour of 3 labs. So you can see how the actual physical lab is. Then we have video tutorials. These are the animations of older simulation interface. So these are the downloads. So these are the different tabs available. So we'll go to RT lab, one of the experiments. So we have self-evaluation. Then we have remote trigger. So here is a place where we actually do the experiment. Then we have assignment tab with few more questions. Then we'll be having the reference section, then video, then the quiz section. Okay, so This with additional questions to test one's understanding levels. So remote trigger is a tab where we actually do the experiment. So in simulation-based virtual labs, we would be having simulation tab instead of remote trigger. So I click on remote trigger tab. The interface would be slightly different when you compare it with simulation-based lab. Okay. I'll tell you what would be the difference. So we can see lively maybe in the coming days. So here we have to select online mode. Since I'm in NITK currently, I'll select NITK network. If you are using or triggering the experiment, you can go for external network and start the experiment. Now, if you see the user interface here, we can turn on this live stream to see how the experiment is kept here. We have status section where it is provided as connected and controlled. That is, for remote trigger virtual labs, only one person at a time can get the control. Like if all of you try to access the same experiment, then everyone will be connected, but only the first user will get the control. And he will be having control time of 5 minutes. Rest all would be queued. Okay, so once control time of first user completes, or once the first user disconnects from the experiment, the control will be handed to the next user. Okay, so I'm connected to the experiment and I have the control now since nobody else is using it and my control time is reducing. So there are no parameters to vary. So directly I can trigger the experiment. Okay, so I think there is some, because of network issue, I'm not able to say the live stream. So I'll directly trigger the experiment. So you'll be having 10-second delay. And then you would be getting the output in terms of graph. Okay, so I can download the data. And within the control time available, I can perform 3 triggers and get 3 different data sets, which I can download for further processing. Similarly, I can click on once again trigger. Likewise, I can trigger one more time and get data 3. So now I can go to proceed to calculation. Then I can compare my actual result and the theoretical result. Okay, so this is a remote triggered lab experiment interface. So change for the simulation would be, first is this, here it would be simulation tab, then would be there will be no control time or control status in simulation based virtual labs. There everybody whoever wants to access or work on the experiment can work simultaneously and independently. Okay, since this is actual experiment, there is a control and connected sections. So hope the difference is clear and hope the interface is also clear. So I think we can wind up the session as of now for today. Now the session is open for queries. So participants, if they have any queries, they can unmute their mic and ask. If not, they can type on the chat box as well so that I can answer. Thank you. Over to the host.
So if you have any query, can ask to ma'am. Ma'am, the lab is available for all the discipline or only the 4 discipline as you mentioned in the presentation? Ma'am, have you got the question, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm audible, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So in the main website, we have 9 different domains, 7 engineering and 2 basic sciences. So we have labs available for 9 different domains in the main website. And we have other labs as well available for few of the different domains, and many more labs would be developed, sir. So lab development is a continuous process. There are older labs and newer labs as well. So labs which are developed maybe in around 2010-12, we have labs available, and now also we are developing newer labs in different gap areas. And when I say experiment, again, it could be theoretical based experiment, or it could be simulation or practical experimental based experiments. And when I say experimental based, again, the complexity varies. So some could be very simple, just to make the user to understand the concept. For example, if I want to say in terms of circuit, simpler one could be where circuit is fixed. We just need to vary the input parameters and note down the output variations. See how the output varies. So some other experiments, user interface would allow the user to rig up their own circuit and they can proceed forward. So that is which provides more hands-on to the user. So there are variations within the experiments and the labs as well. So we have labs in different domains, and many more labs in different domains are coming up in the different gap areas. And when I say labs, here we cannot go just as per the domain. As we know, we have multiple subjects or concepts in common for different domains. For example, logic design or digital electronics. The concepts are common between circuit and IT. Similarly, SOM, the concepts are common between civil and mechanical. So we might have labs available only any one domain. So we have plenty of labs available for logic design in digital electronics and communication domains, where so IT people also can look into that. So here, main thing that we need to remember is, though we have different domain labs available, we need to look into the relative domain labs and experiments as well. That is one thing. And some of the experiments could be available under multiple labs. Same experiment could be available under multiple labs with different interfaces. So whichever interface we feel convenient, we can pick that and use. And before concluding, one more point I would like to make. When you try to access the experiments of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham and IIT Kanpur, sometime it might ask for login. That was earlier created. So you need not worry. User can just create their own account, freely sign up, and using the login credentials, they can keep on using the simulator whenever required. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ma'am, for as far as computer science and engineering is concerned, do you have all the compilers inbuilt in that experiments which you have given in the VLab?
Can you kindly repeat the question, sir?
As far as computer science and engineering or IT concerned, because we do a lot of laboratory on various programming languages, right? So is there the compiler for all the experiments? Because for example, when you take object-oriented programming or Python programming, so is there a compiler inbuilt in the experiments which are given in VLab?
No, sir. There is no compiler involved in this.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is virtual labs are developed based on open source softwares.
Okay.
We have labs for computer C programming and other things, data structures and all, and everything. For the concepts, we have given the animations.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, here it is JavaScript based experiments. Like the experiments are developed using JavaScript.
Is there any other questions, participants? I think that's it, ma'am, for given clear introduction about virtual lab. So thank you, ma'am, for your introduction speech, and we will have. We are very eager to see the demonstration on various experiments. So we will plan shortly the demonstration. So thank you very much, ma'am, for your time, and thank you for all the participants for patiently listening. And we will have a demonstration session by most probably by end of this week or by next week. I will inform you later. Okay. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Myself, on behalf of Virtual Labs team at NITK Suratkal, thank the entire management team of Jaya Engineering College, principal and the nodal coordinator, Maran sir. So today we have just seen the introduction. So as sir told, we'll be shortly seeing the demonstration session as well, maybe by this weekend, by this week or in the coming weeks. So thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.